Welcome to Simply Wellbeing, Andy.
Thank you so much, Bryony, and thank you, Fiona, for having us. Or me, rather, but...
Well, no, it's like us with you because it's very excitable and there's lots going on.
You know what's so exciting is that I get to work with a lot of amazing people. So, yeah, I've written all of these books and now I've got this cooking school in St Kilda and just finished a Fit Expo. It's called FitX over the long weekend.
Got a 4-year-old too, so that gives you lots of incidental exercise.
Well, exactly. So with the no sort of excuses attitude, everyone has the perfect weight lying around the house. If they have a kid, strap them on you. And do some squats or go for a walk and climb some stairs with your kid on you. An extra, 10 to 20 kilos there is quite good.
I love your philosophy about eating fat and keeping thin, which is the title of one of your books. Do you want to tell me about that?
Yeah, sure. So one of the book titles is called Eat Fat, Be Thin. And then as a result of that success, we wrote another one. My co-author, Dr. Natalie Kringoudis, and I wrote Eat Fat, Be Lean. And that one's more of a paleo-inspired concept, but both having the principles of eating good fats, of course. Like we don't want to eat the trans fats, the man-made ones like margarines and things like that. Those ones are, even margarine's one molecule away from being plastic, apparently. It's, black when it's manufactured and then it's dyed yellow. So as the gentleman was saying before, eat as close to nature as possible, not the packaged stuff. So the good fats are the things like, do you know what they are? Like, you want to rattle off a few off the top of your head?
Coconut oil, and I was talking about chia seeds just earlier. And
great fat, yeah.
Put flaxseed oil and avocado.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
nuts.
I guess these are all called essential fatty acids, and the key part to that phrase is the word essential. And really is crucial because, for example, Dr. Nat, who wrote the book with me, her area of expertise in Chinese medicine is hormones and gut health. And if you think about it, our hormones, particularly our sex hormones, are made up of fats and cholesterol. So if, in the old bodybuilding days, they would crack open the egg and throw away the egg yolk and just eat the white part, that's a whole food. We actually need the whole of that food. We're throwing away a vital part, and our hormones are actually missing out on that vital nutrition. So in the Western world, just because we've been programmed to eat low fat, now we're missing out on all of this vital nutrition, and our hormones are going crazy. And it's not fat that makes you fat, it's sugar.
That's right. And people aren't any skinnier for going no fat, are they?
Well, that's it. If low fat worked, we'd all be thin, and we're not.
No. It's interesting. And a lot of the time they were replacing it with sugar, which, is just so detrimental for your health.
Bryony, that is exactly right. So when they take out the fat in these low-fat packaged foods, they do need to replace it with something, and that usually is sugar. And so, you're missing out on this nutrition. And then double-edged sword, now you're also having sugar, which is, research has showed that it's highly addictive, more addictive than heroin and cocaine. It's usually that particular time of the month that you're craving chocolate. That's actually not a bad thing because our body is craving cacao. And cacao is actually high in protein, but also in magnesium. Magnesium is something that helps muscles to expand and contract really healthily. And so our uterus is a muscle, for example. All organs are a muscle. So it's not bad that we're craving the chocolate, but it's the type of chocolate that you want to get, because the ones with the additives and the sugars is the bad thing. But maybe if we can get, a healthy chocolate or make our own with cacao and coconut oil and cacao butter, you could get that great hit and also make your body really work well. So not only can you eat that type of chocolate, but you should be eating that type of chocolate.
I agree. And what kind of snacks do you recommend people to eat that are healthy?
Well, we've got a whole heap of recipes in our books, Eat Fat, Be Thin, Eat Fat, Be Lean. And some of them, the most popular ones are amaze balls. That's made with cacao, packed with good fats and proteins, sugar-free, dairy-free, wheat-free, because so many people have intolerances. But then there are some really great brands as well in the shops nowadays. If you go to the health food sections, there's a fantastic brand of chocolate called Pana chocolate, P-A-N-A. There's Loving Earth that I'm sure some people have heard of. And if you just want to buy your own cacao and make some stuff in the home, in the comfort of your own home, and get creative, you can get them from this company called Power Superfoods. And actually, can I tell the listeners there's a discount if they want to get some cacao from Power Superfoods. If they type in the product code on powersuperfoods.com, EFBT, which just stands for Eat Fat, Be Thin, they can get 10% off. They're very generous.
Oh, that's great. I'm sure, because there's so many great recipes, especially if you on Google or Facebook, there's so many great Facebook pages like your own, and, you know, there's great recipes that people can start making their own healthy treats.
Yeah, and it's cheaper and you get the kids involved as well, so then the kids want to eat it too.
Yeah. And being a mother and you're obviously so busy and have so much on, but yet you stay healthy, do you have tips for mothers out there, you know, that are trying to juggle everything, how they can still stay healthy?
I'm still working it out. You know, I don't want any mother to sort of feel inadequate. I think we all do the best that we can with whatever circumstance we have, and, you know, every family dynamic is so unique, and each, you know, child is so different, and I think we all do our best. But a lot of mums have said that they do enjoy reading the information in their book, so, you know, whether it means they get that fantastic recipe, there's a quick chia seed pudding recipe that's got cacao and chia seeds, and look, that's one that the kids can make up because there's no ovens required. You just need a mixing bowl and, you know, that's it. But I think the best thing to do is get kids involved in the kitchen, get them helping you, because then it's an exciting process, and then they want to eat it after they've made it. So maybe do something like that with them. Yeah,
and it's true that children, especially fussier eaters, are actually more likely to eat the food if they've actually helped in the preparation themselves, especially with the same-sex parent.
Yeah.
So it's a good tip for people out there when they've got fussy eaters, and it means they can eat it themselves as well.
And kids do have a natural sweet tooth, like in the beginning, as, you know, they're developing. I think it helps to breastfeed as long as possible, because then some of the foods get introduced through, or the tastes get introduced through the milk, as opposed to maybe a child that is just sort of brought up. But, you know, and that's a whole touchy subject too, but that sort of thing helps as well. But with the sweet tooth, if you do want to introduce a sugar alternative, there's something like xylitol, and it's spelt with an X, and I know it sounds unnatural, but it's actually plant-derived. It's a great sugar alternative, because everything that sugar does, which is inflammatory to the gut and all that sort of stuff, xylitol actually does the opposite, and it's 40% less calories than sugar. So that's something that you can, you know, give to your kids. You can make a cake. You can actually say, here, have this cake. It's good for you. I want you to eat the whole thing, you know, if you're making it with the right ingredients.
Yeah, and the great thing about xylitol is it's the sort of same consistency as sugar, really, isn't it?
And it's 1 for 1. So people find that it works. But do be aware of, say, stevia that you buy in a supermarket. Chances are, if you read the back of the packet, it's only got a minimal amount of stevia in there. Some brands actually have aspartame, which is a man-made, very unnatural chemical. Yes, it's 0 calories, but it's a neurotoxin. It's not good for you. And then there are other natural ones added in, like erythritol. It's actually a sugar, so it's not just pure stevia, because stevia is very bitter tasting if you had 100% stevia. So I find that the good ones are from a company, if I may do this plug, naturallysweet.com.au.
Yeah, they're the ones that with it's got the flavours to it?
Yeah, natural flavours help the stevia drops taste not so bitter. But try and use a combination of things. If you don't have a weight problem or a hormonal problem, it's really safe to have things like coconut sugar, Rapadura sugar, even agave. Yes, it converts to sugar. But, you know, it's not the white processed addictive stuff. And like I said, if you don't have, you know, a weight or a hormonal issue, then it'd be safe to have something like that. But I'm really into something at the moment called coconut nectar. Yum.
I don't think I've used that.
Yeah, it's a brand new product I've just found through a company called Coconut Magic, and I just put it all over Bodhi's pancakes last night.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So is it like a spread?
It's like a honey syrup.
Oh,
yeah, it's really nice.
I have to try that. I make Gretchen my 3-year-old pancakes all the time, so she'll like that one.
Yeah.
And well, you've mentioned a few ingredients. What are some of the, you know, key healthy ingredients that you use as a staple in your cupboard for cooking?
Yeah, well, chia seeds is a good one, isn't it? It's a superfood. Most people don't know what to do with chia seeds, though. And so, you know, there's some great recipes in the book there, but, you know, you can make things like cakes with it, because for vegans it's a great egg replacer too, because if you soak it, it becomes a gel. And so it's a great raising agent. And then you've got, chia seeds, sugar alternatives, some of those we've mentioned, stevia, xylitol, coconut nectar, agave. Then you've got all of your good fats. Coconut oil is a great one. In the hot like today, it might turn to a liquid and you can use it as a dressing. But then when it's cold in the winter, or if you throw it in the fridge, it becomes a coconut butter, and you can use that as an alternative to spread on a toast or something like that. But it's a really good essential fatty acid to include in even a developing child's body, because their neurological systems are still developing and they need that stuff. I mean, there's a part of the nervous system called the myelin sheath that's made up of fat. So if we're not giving our kids in this Western world these essential fats, they're missing out on this vital nutrition.
Yeah, I think they're pretty good staples to have in the cupboard for people. And like you say, people can learn how to make really healthy and easy recipes, which is unreal.
It's been wonderful having you. We might have to get it back, Bryony. People can contact you if they didn't have a pen beside them.
Or just go to andylou.com.
Perfect.
Yeah.